Hello and welcome to another video podcast focusing on people working within the entertainment industry. My name is James and I'm a photographer and videographer from Greater Manchester here in the UK. My guest today is James Taylor, an award-winning chef, butcher and businessman from Greater Manchester. James is a third-generation butcher turned chef with a passion for seasonal food and nose-to-tail dining. He is a non-stop whirlwind, starting off as a butcher and slaughterman straight from school. In the early 2000s, he and his wife Heather started Bobby's Bangers, travelling up and down the country serving quality food at farmers markets and food festivals. It was during this time that he won an award for making Yorkshire's best sausage, whilst being based in Lancashire. The next few years saw a number of businesses come and go in the very competitive world that is the food industry here in the UK. Post-Covid saw James join the family-run business Daru TV and Film Catering. Daru offers an impressive range of meals on location throughout the UK for the TV and film industry with its fleet of mobile kitchens. During this podcast, James gives us a glimpse into his working day, providing quality food to hard-working professionals within the entertainment industry. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel for more entertainment video podcasts. So let's jump straight into the podcast. Hello, James.
Hello, Jay. That's quite easy to remember, isn't it?
Isn't it? Yes.
And it's written on your t-shirt, so I won't even forget my own name.
Thank you for coming down today. Thank you for joining in the podcast.
Not a problem. I've been excited to come. It's just that awful thing of work just gets in the way.
Oh, yeah, because I've been trying to get you now for several months, haven't I?
It's been a while.
It's been a while, yes. So you've got a varied history. The bio that we just listened to tells us a lot about you. But for the listeners, could you just fill in a few of the gaps, just tell us about James, how he started, and then I'll move on to the questions. We'll get more specific.
Right, so I'm a third-generation butcher. My granddad started butchering sort of before the Second World War, and my grandma had a little butcher's shop, and things moved on, and my dad went into it, and then I obviously, at 10 or 11-year-old, I'd go to the butcher's at weekend and help do a bit of sweeping up and whatever, and you kind of, as much as you think that's not what you're going to do, it's where I ended up. I left school and went working in the family business, then we kind of diversified a bit into making sausages. Quite a while on, when I was about 30, I met my wife and she came working with me in the butcher's and we started making Bobby's Bangers sausages. And we did farmers markets and food festivals. We served a few restaurants. We won a few awards, which was really nice. And that kind of then moved on into doing a bit of street food. And street food's like a way of getting into a restaurant without having a restaurant. It's great fun. And you meet some amazing people and you do events and you be like, oh, have you been to this event? And you go, and we went down to Sheffield, went to Jimmy's Farm in Ipswich. We did, Nigel Howarth had a food festival over at the football ground. And we just kind of, it sounds bizarre, where I met who turned out to be one of my best friends, Richard. Me and Heather met him on a farmer's market and we got chatting and we thought we're going to take over the world. We came up with the idea, the best, and we were going to do sausage and mash. And we would put our heart into sausage and mash. And we'd be up till 3 o'clock in the morning mashing potatoes and making gravy and flavoured sausages. And do you know what? Nobody got it. We were a bit too hard because people come up and they go, I'll have a burger. And we were like, oh, what flavour sausage do you want? What flavour mash do you want? What flavour gravy do you want? And we tried and it just didn't work. And we did try. We then...
why do you think that? Why were people not interested in sausages?
I think it's a bit of a poor man's food. It's a bit of a peasant. It's my favourite thing to eat. Good sausage, mash and gravy. You see it in restaurant menus. People have it at home. It should be like a burger. People should be able to relate to it. But, there's that many other things on offer at these places. There'll be Moroccan food, there'll be Chinese food, there'll be pizzas, and I just don't think we hit the market with it. So we decided we entered a competition in Manchester to take over a small space for 6 months, and we were going to run it, and we sat and we were like, well, it's just not working. So we came up and we made Bangers and Bacon, which was a street food brand making bacon burgers and corn dogs and things like that. And we did that for 12 months. And then we opened a restaurant in Manchester called Bistro, which we had for just 2 years. And then rents and bills and things got a bit in front. And
Manchester's crazy for that, isn't it? Especially if you're near the Metro link.
well, no, we were down in Spinningfields, which is amazing. It's busy in the week, weekends are quiet, evenings are quiet, and it just didn't work.
It's like Manhattan now, Spinningfields, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very nice, very shiny and flashy if you're in the right spot. So we left there. Richard went to London to work down there and be with his now wife. And me and Heather took over a pub. And then that was just at the beginning of lockdown happened. After we'd been open maybe about 8 months. We never ever got it back after that. So I answered an advert on Facebook to go and do a little bit of catering in Salford when the Olympics was on. Because they filmed all the first Olympics after lockdown was filmed at Media City in Manchester. They got all individual studios with all the different commentators. And we catered for them for a month, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Wow.
And that was being a stopgap until I found out what I was going to do. And that was 3 and a bit years ago. And I've been all over the country now. I work for a company called Daru, and we cater for TV, film, events. Anywhere we can take a truck, we go. Doing for the likes of Emmerdale and Heartbeat, you know, all the old programmes. And they did I'm a Celebrity when it was in Wales. They did the catering for that. We've done Boat Story, which is just now been released on the BBC. I did that last winter when it was really cold. We did All Creatures Great and Small, and they've done that ever since it started. We did The Wedding Season, which was a Netflix programme from a couple of years ago. We did Ralph and Katie and Ackley Bridge, amongst many, many others that I've probably forgot and will get shouted at for forgetting.
So would you say you almost stumbled to working in catering in the entertainment industry?
Yeah. I'd been working in a tapas bar, and I really enjoyed the tapas bar, but we had a few issues with the management. It just wasn't working, and I decided I was going to leave, and I wasn't going to mess with food because it was hot and it was noisy and it was pressure. And I thought, I'm going to become a gamekeeper. I'm going to do something completely different.
Out in the wilds? Out
in the wilds. And I found a course, and me and my mate, he also works in kitchens. I did Will, and we were going to go on this course, and we were going to become gamekeepers, or at least learn to be gamekeepers. And then by the end of it, probably end up working in kitchens, working with game or something. But we went to college, and I was 40, and Will was nearly 50, and everyone else was 16, nearly 17. Yeah. And they were, we were at the wrong end of going to college to become gamekeepers. There's
a real glass ceiling when you reach a certain age, isn't there?
Yeah, we were sat in these classrooms and thinking, I'm older than the teachers. And then I saw this advert came on Facebook, like an agency looking for temporary staff. And I thought, well, that'll do for something for now, and it buys me a month. And it was hard. It was 12 hours a day, 7 days a week for a month, but it was fun. You know.
So you enjoy it?
Oh, do you know what? It's when you step away from it when you realise how much you actually enjoy it. Because I left for a short spell. I'd had a bit of a rough time. It was cold, and you know you work in a normal kitchen, and you turn up to work, and your kitchen's there, and you go and you do your shift, you clean your kitchen down, you go home. Whereas with what we do, you turn up in the morning and you get everything ready before everyone arrives. You set out a lovely breakfast table and you get breakfast ready.
This is for all the actors and crew?
This is for the actors, the crew, the extras, whoever's friends have managed to sneak on the list. And it can be for 70 people, it can be for 500 people. And you know in advance, so it's not like they turn up and they go, there's 500 of us today. You know, you get a bit of an advance. But then you clean down. We send them a nice little afternoon snack, mid-morning snack. So you get a bit of cake and a coffee, and then they'll come for the lunch. and then they get an afternoon tea, and then you clean your kitchen down. But then you have to pack it all up and then drive it to another location ready for the next day. And some jobs you don't. The last job I did in Scotland, we were sat up for 6 months. Honestly, it was beautiful. Side of a mountain in Auburn, and you open the little hatch every morning and watch the sun come up. Oh, it was beautiful.
Just make Auburn beautiful.
Auburn.
Every time I've been to Auburn, it's rained.
Yeah, well, you see, I've been many times because I love seafood. You go to the little seafood shack and you go and you buy a pot of mussels for a £5 and sit on a wooden bench with people in suits and you eat them and look out over the sea. And it's as fresh as it gets. But I've always been in January. It's usually closed. It's usually all shut. It's like a ghost town.
Yeah.
But we hit lucky. We actually went up on the 13th of August, so we got the really nice weather. And yes, we got the rain towards the end. And yes, the last day was cancelled because, you know, with the really bad storms and the roads were shut off.
Yeah.
That was at Loch Fyne. And my little hotel was sort of, that doesn't really help, does it? My little hotel was here, and this road here was closed off, and this road here was closed off. So we were stuck there for a few days. But it's amazing. You get past that, it is hard work, but it's the rush and the adrenaline of feeding all them people, and then them coming back after and saying, you know, that food was amazing.
So is it almost like being a pilot or, you know, stewardess, where you're constantly there, you're constantly working, so you never get to see the productions? It's just, are they all the same? Just different faces come and go when they ask for a meal? A
lot of the time, the people say to you, oh, it must be glamorous. Well, it's not really. The majority of the time, you're in a car park that they've rented that'll be either a school or a football ground or just a disused field somewhere. But then occasionally you get to Auburn on the side of a mountain. And then last year I did all the catering for All Creatures Great and Small. And that starts in March and runs through to just the end of July. So we got the really cold when it was freezing and snowing, and then up to the end where it was sunny. And it's funny, and I delivered lunch one day. They were running behind, and what they usually do is bring everyone back to base and they'll all eat. And they said, could you deliver lunch? And I'm like, yeah, of course I'll deliver lunch. So everything went into sealed hot boxes into the back. We have a company 4x4, so I goes up to the top of the moors and I pulls up, and they were filming this scene for the Christmas special. So it was cold. We were tapping, there was nothing there. And they said, oh, we're not ready for you. I said, well, you asked me to be here. They said, well, and you can get angry, but I'm like, no problem. So I sat there and I watched as they drove a truck along. And they're like, no, the shed was wrong, reverse. So they reversed this truck back up. And then they drove it again. Yeah, we like that, but this time this other truck's got to drive through. And I sat there for over an hour while they had this truck driving up and down and this other truck like that. And then they said, right, we're going to stop for lunch now. How quick can you have lunch ready? I'm like, I'm really enjoying myself now. I
forgot I was the chef.
Yeah, so then in the middle of this road on the moors, it was closed off because they have traffic management, so they close the road off so they can do what they want. There's towers up with people with cameras on, there's lights, there's all that kind of stuff. And then we're putting like fold-up tables out down the middle of the road. I've got everyone sat around the tables, and I'm there and I'm going, what did you order? And it was like meat, fish or vegan. And then they're going, can I have a dessert? And I'm like, yeah, there's your dessert. And it was like that, and it was all over in 5 minutes. And it's like 80 people fed. And then they're like, right, you need to go. We've got to film this truck driving up again. I'm like, how do you not get it done? So yeah, my bit's really busy, and I laugh and joke that they all stand around, but every one of them has a job to do.
Yeah.
You know, they're down to your runners, which literally look after everyone.
It's a real team effort.
It is.
And it's a team effort that involves you, the catering.
You know, it is. We are the sort of tiny little bit, but without us, you'd have a lot of unhappy people. Because it is hard work for them. A lot of them are away from home for months and months at a time. Because, you know, we rock up and set the kitchen up, and half a day we're ready to go. Some of these people have been there 2 months, scouting locations, mowing fields so you can park. And it's, you know, it's...
So do you see their faces lift when you turn up?
Oh, when I turn up, obviously. But no, it does help, and they do tell you that, you know. And they get a good offer from us. You know, they get a full continental breakfast and then cooked breakfasts. We do breakfast specials, so we'll do eggs Benedict for them, that kind of jazz. And then they get an afternoon tea, so they'll get like a snack. It might be a bag of crisps and a coffee, but they've been working a few hours, it's cold. You know, they might have been sat looking at a monitor for 2 hours. They get something, and then they come for lunch, and we make a meat, a fish, and a vegan dish. And it might be curries, and we might make 3 different curries.
A spicy one, and then
no, we'll do like a cauliflower chickpea vegan curry, and then we'll do maybe like a Goan fish curry that'll be nice and spicy, and then we'll make like a chicken tikka. So there's options for everybody, and then they get a dessert. So they might get a sticky toffee pudding or an apple pie or a cheesecake, depending on the weather.
So this is all heartwarming stuff. But what about in summer? I mean,
so in summer we do salads. So we'll do like we did some really nice salmon poke bowls with noodles and edamame beans, a nice little runny boiled egg in there, some dressings and some pea shoots. So it was just nice and light. Or we'd do like a nice tuna salad, or we'd do like a steak sandwich with some chips and some cheesecakes and jellies. And when it's really hot, we get them some ice creams in. You've got, whatever, in winter.
You are making me so hungry. I want to be hungry.
This is my specialist skill. I can make anyone hungry by talking at them. Or fall asleep, one or the other.
So is there always a fussy one? Is there always someone that asks for something that's not on the menu?
There's the fussy people that understand the fussy and they'll bring their own food from home. We did the medic on the last job with the wrap parties. At the end of every job, there's a wrap party. And the production puts some money behind the bar. They put a little buffet on. Everyone gets really drunk and tells everyone what they think of everyone. So
and they invite you.
I've been on a couple, and the last one I went on, the medic was stood there, and I thought, right, it's ended now. I can just ask her. And I went, do you hate me? And she went, no, what do you mean? I said, look, you've not eaten a meal with us for the whole job. I said, and I a little bit of me doesn't want you to say, yes, actually, I really hate what you do. But I said, I've had a few beers. I'm a bit braver than I was earlier. And she says, no, I'm just really fussy as what I eat. So rather than be annoying to you, I just bring my own food. I said, well, next time, just come up and ask me, and I'll make you whatever you want. Because I like to kill people with a bit of kindness. But then you get the other people that are, what would you like? Yes, I would like 3 sausages, 2 pieces of bacon, but can I have one of them well done? And then can I have 1 poached egg and 1 fried egg? And then can I get some beans? But can I have the sauce from the beans separate to the... And they do. I think they think, oh, this is free. I can just be as annoying as I want. And I think there is that little bit. But we cater for all intolerances. When you go on the job... as an actor or a runner or a sound person or whatever part it is, you send a form off saying what your allergies are, and we get that as a list. And we print that out and stick it on the wall so that when you are making meals, you can kind of say, well, this person here is gluten-free, but is also vegan. So as long as we keep the vegan dish gluten-free, there'll be something for them. And you kind of tailor what you do around your crew.
So do you have like a blanket ban on things like nuts and stuff like that?
Yeah, the majority of what we do is nut-free, which is really difficult because it's amazing the amount of products like croissants that come from factories that may contain nuts, and you just can't take the chance. So we've found, certainly my boss and his sons that look after that side of the business have found it difficult to source some things, and that we're buying some desserts that are vegan, gluten-free, nut-free, everything free, just so that we have that option for people. Because, you've got to be inclusive for everyone.
So you start, what time do you start setting up and prepping for these gigs?
Well, All Creatures Great and Small was filmed all over in Yorkshire. A lot of it over in Skipton, and then a lot of it near Pateley Bridge. So my alarm clock would go off at 2:30 in the morning. I would then drive up to Leeds.
So you've gone to bed at 6?
So 8 o'clock is the late. Anything past 8 o'clock and it's not a good morning. So routine, cup of coffee on while I have my shower, out of the house, and I drive to Leeds. And then at Leeds we have a fridge van that's waiting for us with all our prep that we've ordered, all our meat, veg, whatever we need is all waiting in a van. And then we drive over to set, we unpack everything, set our little easy up outside with Continental on, tea, coffee machine on there, and then we get the kitchen on and hot, and we cook breakfast. There's usually 3 of us, and you have your breakfast split between 2 of you, and then someone else will be cutting up fruit and making little fruit pots, little granola pots. If you've got like a stew on, one of you will sort of peter off and start getting that ready so it can start cooking all day, so that when you get to your lunchtime, you're ready for that. But then, if they throw a night shoot at you, because they've quite set in the ways how they like things, they will have you do breakfast at 5 o'clock in the evening. So you'll go in at like 1 and you'll have breakfast ready for them. And then they'll have lunch at maybe 11 o'clock at night.
So they shift the shooting day?
They shift the shooting day.
It's not starting really early and lasting 24 hours.
They move everything around. Because obviously if they're wanting to film outdoors at night, indoors at night, they can just put like curtains up at the windows and they can make day look like night and night look like day. But when they're outside, they do these night shoots. Yeah. But they don't then kind of alter what we do. We do what they ask. And then we leave there at maybe 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, dropping them off a little beef burger or a sausage roll as a late night snack, and they'll work through till 4 or 5 in the morning, and then they'll all finish.
So are you a happy crew? I mean, starting at that time in the morning, you'll rock up and you think, oh, I'm working with you again.
You've got to be. As teams, we all work well together, because you have to do it together. Because if not, if one of you drops a bollock, it's just game over. You've got to work together, and we do. You know, the other people I work with at Daru, all really nice. We get on. You know, we've not worked now since the end of October with the strikes in America. All that has sort of filtered down to us. And we've had our jobs have been postponed because they've either got cast or crew that are part of the organisations in America, so they've not been working. So we've kind of not worked, and I'm still in contact with them all. We still have a phone call, have a chat, have a catch up, because we then, end of January, everything starts again. And as far as I know, and it's obviously not written that I'm going to Edinburgh for 5 weeks, doing a show up there. So
the life of the caterers is just as precarious as the life of the actors.
Oh, wait, do you know what?
You're all freelance and you're all looking for that next job.
Yeah, it's funny because you get towards the last week and you might have been with someone for 4 or 5 months, so you get to be friends. You get to be friends with the different departments, the people that come for food, because the art department might send one person to pick up 6 meals because the others are busy or whatever. So you get towards the end and you're like, so what are you going on next? And you can tell the departments that earn the most money, because they're like, well, I'm going to have 6 months off. Or they'll be like, oh, well, I'm going into this job. I'm doing dailies. So dailies is very freelance. There might be a programme and they need just a cameraman or a sound person for 1 day or 2 days. Or they might have a load of extras and they need some runners or some more makeup, and they will just go and work for a day. So it might be, oh yeah, I've got dailies coming up. Whereas for us, we know kind of a job in advance.
Because you've got to get all the food ready.
Because you've got to do, and you've got to then be in touch with them to find out what they want, what their budgets are. The boat story job we did, we kind of jumped on that job last year, and they said, oh, it's all based around Leeds, which is great for us because we're based in Leeds. But we went to Sheffield, we went to Hull, we went to Selby, we went to anywhere. I think we were in Leeds for a week. So it's kind of, you've got to roll with that as well to a certain extent, but it's nice to know what you're doing and to a certain extent where you're going.
So do they stick together? I mean, have you got like the grip hands stay over there and the makeup artist they'll stay here, or do they all just merge into one and they all rub shoulders to shoulder. Do the extras stay? I mean, do they all come up at different times?
So what they tend to do, it all depends on what the production company want to do. Because a lot of them, what they'll do is they'll have like a holding pen. I was right, a holding area for the extras. And what they'll do is they'll sort of say, you've got 50, 80 extras. They're going to be there. Can you send over some breakfast? So you'll send over like some continental breakfast stuff for them, and then like a variety of cooked breakfasts. And then as they arrive, as their call time is, you'll have people coming up to the hatch. So you might get a text, and it'll be, for sound, could we have this breakfast, this breakfast, this breakfast? And then you get them ready. They come in at 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock. You have it ready so they can come and you give it to them. But then on the top of that, you'll have a bass runner who will be coming up, and they'll be like, right, such an artist is here. They would like this breakfast. So you get that ready, and that goes out as well. And then you've got other people flowing up to come and get their own breakfast in between. So it's never really the same from job to job. Because then other jobs, they'll just sort of say, right, you've got 80 extras, they're all coming to the hatch, they're all going to come for breakfast. And we did a job in Birmingham, and I did about a week on it, and did 500 extras, and we'd to serve lunch to 500 in a disused nightclub in the centre of Birmingham. And you've never seen as much food. And we made lasagnas, and I like a lasagna, but after you've made sort of 10 gastro trays of lasagna, you're over lasagna. And it's all boxed up and trayed up, and we get it into this nightclub, and then they were queuing up this flight of stairs, and you're like, is it ever going to end? And you just, in the end, you're just going, meat, fish or veg, meat, fish or veg. And so it varies a lot, really.
So all the food you produce, do you like?
No, you can't, we make things that are applicable. So if it's really, really cold, you'll make stews and pies and things like that. And if it's hotter, I do like some vegetarian food. I do like a nice veg curry, but quite a few, like you make a moussaka, like a veg moussaka, and I just aubergines aren't my friend. Someone asked me the other day the best way to prepare one, and I said, what you want to do with the aubergine is slide it lengthways and oil it up. And they went, yeah, and I said, and then it slides really well into the bin.
Do you manage to get your sausages in?
Yeah, we do. Breakfast, we do sausage and mash. It does work. On a cold day, up in the Highlands of Scotland, you give them a container with some buttery mash and some carrots and some sausage and some nice onion gravy. It's heartwarming.
Before we move on to more about Bobby's Bangers and the rest of the things that you do, have you got any funny moments, anything that sticks in your mind?
So I was thinking about this, and there's two, and they're both from a similar time, and they were both based in Manchester, and we did David Dickinson's Real Deal. We did catering for that, and this was back when we had the restaurant, and it was Heather had taken the booking, and she's like, I've got this booking, and it was at Olgrenard Studios, so it was an amazing venue, and we went over to meet them, and I said, like, well, what do you want us to do? And they said, well, we've got the people that are coming up with the tat that they want to sell. We want some sandwiches for them. Yeah, no problem. Sandwiches. We'll do you some gluten-free, some vegan. Yeah, no problem. And then the crew, what we'd like for the crew, would like you to make like a curry or chili or something like that. Yeah, no problem. And David Dickinson, all right, yeah. What would he like? He would like a steak pie, carrots, cabbage, mashed potato and gravy. All right. I said, can the rest? Can we not just do that for everyone? No, because that's what David wants. So that must have been his rider. I always thought it was like bottles of Cristal and blue M&Ms, that kind of jazz. But no, he wanted that. And then my favourite ever, the Australian rock band Airborne were filming at the same studios, and it was a tribute to Lemmy from Motorhead. And they'd hired the studios, and they brought, when Motorhead toured the big stadiums, they had a big bomber, the big scaffolding bomber that used to sit above the stage, and it'd sort of swoop down into the amazing. So they brought that. So we got there, and they were like, right, we need you to feed. 7 o'clock, we need you to feed. And I'm thinking, it's a rock band, what they're going to be doing at 7 o'clock? So we goes in, and I met all the road crew that had worked with Motorhead, and I was just like, And it was, Lemmy had died, and I'd seen him about 6 months before he died, and I was deaf from that concert. It was amazing. So I'm talking to them, and they're telling you different stories, and then they're setting it all up, and then I goes back into my little kitchen, and this guy comes walking in. It must have been about 12 o'clock, and I said, "Can I help you?" And he said, "Oh yes, I look after the band." I said, "All right." He said, "The lead singer's got a slight problem, and I just wondered if you could help me out." And I'm thinking, what does he think I am? Am I some sort of pimp or something like this? And I'm thinking, this could be the story I tell my kids, that I went partying with this rock band, because the two of us were parked in this old studio. And he said, yeah, he's just got out of the shower and his hair's really frizzy. You wouldn't have him to have some olive oil, would you? And I was like, yeah, there you go anyway. Thank you. And I'm like, that was a bit of an anticlimax. I genuinely thought that was me. I was like ringing home going, look, I'm on tour now. I'm the private chef or whatever.
Sex and drugs and rock and roll.
Yeah, rock and roll. The whole rock and roll, yeah. Do you have some olive oil for his frizzy hair?
Wonderful. So I take it you're a metal fan then?
Do you know what? I like all sorts of music. It's funny because you look at my Spotify and you're like, what is wrong with you? I like Johnny Cash. I love Johnny Cash. I love a bit of metal, dance music. I like to listen to all sorts, but I've got to be in the mood for it.
So do you have music playing in the kitchens?
Always.
Right.
I hate a quiet kitchen because all you hear then is...
Ow.
Yeah. And a few expletives every now and again.
Is it the tempers flare?
Tempers. I'm not like that. I have been like that. I've been angry. And as I've matured...
So you're not Gordon Ramsay?
No. I don't think Gordon Ramsay's really Gordon Ramsay. I think television Gordon Ramsay is. But I think real Gordon... Because I think gone are those high-pressure days, these sort of multi-Michelin star restaurants... I don't think even they scream and shout and burn people, which you hear stories of, and many, many bad things happening. But I feel that if you look calmer, your kitchen runs better. Your food's produced better and faster than screaming and shouting. If you're saying to someone, how long on that? Rather than, is that food ready? Where is it?
So, as a professional, do you watch cookery programs?
No, God, no. No, I hate it. No, I don't hate it. I like to watch the kitchen nightmares where he goes around looking at other people's kitchens, but then I find myself screaming, you know he's coming, why is there a tub of rotten chicken in the fridge? I do enjoy watching Saturday Kitchen, because that is the good thing about doing the TV stuff. You get weekends off, which I spent 5 years working in Manchester, and I was coming home late at night, going to sleep and going to work early for the majority of the week.
Any ambitions to do like MasterChef?
No, because I hate watching myself. I'm not going to watch this because I hate watching myself. We did a program with the Hairy Bikers many years ago, and they were in the restaurant for a whole day, and it was like people pressed up against the window like that watching, and we sat around having a chat, and they were so nice. They were amazing to work with. And we were on the show for about 3.5 seconds, and I've watched it, and it do cringe. And, it's just me. That's
just because you don't like your own personal appearance. You'd rather just be working, getting into the...
Yeah, I'd like them to show what I've done and be like, oh, that looks pretty. And then I got a random phone call asking if I wanted to do Bake Off the Professionals. Now I can make a dessert. It's not my favourite thing to do. I'm a little heavy-handed, really. And I had to say, look, I'm really sorry, but I'm not the person for this job. But then I think, that'd have been really fun, actually. And then I'm like, no, it wouldn't.
So a big force in your life is your wife, and she helps you out with everything. Would she like to be with you as like a husband and wife team?
Oh, God, no. Do you know what? On our wedding day, we'd got this massive wedding planned, and we were going to have a hog roast, and we were having this, and we were having that. And we were sort of early in the planning stages, and she said, I don't really want this. I said, well, I don't really care. I'm not being awful. I just want to get married. So we got into the registry office with 50 friends and family, and then we just invited people to the house, a little barbecue. We had a load of steaks, load of sausages, obviously, and then a buffet. And then my garage I turned into a little bar. And I just said to everyone as they were coming in, just help yourself. And I think they all left about 6. But she's on maybe 2 photographs. And then when we had the restaurant, we had some headshots done of the team for the website and for social media and all that kind of stuff. And the only photo we have of Heather is of her holding a menu like that, and a hat on, so you can just see about that much of her head.
So she's a shy girl.
She is. They actually, she's more known as poor Heather for having to put up with me.
Okay, right. Thank you, James. So let's move on. Can you tell us about Bobby's Bangers?
So Bobby's Bangers. That was never going to be Bobby's Bangers. We'd started making sausages because we used to buy when we had the butchers. We used to buy sausages, and they were all right, but they were never as good as they used to be. When I was a lad, they were always amazing. The company we bought them off. So I found this old cast iron sausage machine about this big. It looked like something that should have been on the Titanic. And I got it cleaned up and we got it oiled up and it worked. And do you know what? It worked really well. So we bought all the bits and pieces, and I got a friend of mine came to help us, because there's quite a bit goes into it. It's about your quantities and how fine you have your mince and what you actually put in there. And we started making a few sausages, and this thing was massive, and I ended up with tennis elbow. And it was just awful. And then it snapped because it was cast iron, and we bought a new one. And she said, these sausages are going all right. We should have it as a line. It should be something special. Our mum and dad had a baker's, and they used to have Frank's Eccles cakes. People queued for these Eccles cakes. I think you put crack cocaine in them. They were that nice.
I love an Eccles cake.
Oh, I should have brought Eccles cake out next time. So she's like, we need something like bistro bangers or something high end. And I don't know how, but my poor departed father was called Robert, and they always used to call him Bobby. And I said to her one day, why don't we call it Bobby's Bangers? She's like, well, it's not really the high end brand I was thinking of, but it just stuck. And I think I've spent the last 10 years with people referring to me as Bobby's Bangers. I was talking to Andrew Nutter, who is a local restaurateur, and someone shouted James, and he went, what are you answering for? And I said, well, that's my name. He went, I thought you were called Bobby. I said, well, no, I've always been James. It's just the sausages are Bobby's Bangers. He went, wow, you're in my phone as Bobby. So I have a local Royton Market on a Thursday, and we had a little stall on there selling sausages. And then we did a few farmers markets, and we'd go over to Liverpool, to Lark Lane and to Prescott. And then we'd go to Staley Bridge Farmers Market and Ashton Farmers Market, and then Buxton Farmers Market. And then slowly you're getting a bit further and a bit further. And we went to Jimmy's Farm in Ipswich. They had a sausage festival on. And it was possibly the hardest day's work in my life. I spent it was 3 days, leaned over like this, cooking sausages. And we'd making sausage sandwiches, and Heather's selling fresh sausages. And it was just a whole day of, you didn't see anything. All you saw was sausage, like sausage blindness. And they came and they got sausages off everyone. And we'd made this Indian sausage, and we'd made like a little curry powder into the sausage meat. And then we put caramelised spiced pineapple, and then loads of fresh coriander in. So it was like a little Indian meal in the sausage, and it was delightful. And we were on there on the second day, and we'd run out of nearly everything. And then Jimmy turned up, and he was like, I've just had to bring you this, here's your trophy and here's your certificate. And I'm like, and she's on a photo, I've got a photo of that somewhere, I'll send you that. And we got this little plate and a trophy, and we were sausage producer of the year. And then off the back of that, the Saturday Kitchen asked us to send some sausages in, and then we entered them to part of British Sausage Week. They do Finding Britain's Best Sausage, and they split the country up into regions, and you send sausages off in a freezer box, and then they'll say, right, come in, bring a plain sausage and bring what your specialist sausage is. So we went up to Leeds, and there was Sam's Chop House in Leeds, I can't tell you where it was. It was early and I was a little bit nervous. And we got there and we sat down and there were all these butchers and farmers and it was the Northwest, which included Greater Manchester, Yorkshire and Humberside, all grouped together. So all these people from these big swanky farm shops and this, that and the other, and then me and Heather are sat there and we sat having a cup of tea and they keep going off and they come in and they do a bit of recording and then they wander off. And then we sat there and I sat chatting to this guy. And this guy was really quite nice and it's this must have been before Jimmy's Farm. It was the first one we'd done. And I said, oh, it's our first competition. We just thought we'd see what had happened. And they were like, oh. Anyway, first person they called up was us for our plain pork sausage. So I jumps up and I goes up and I gets my award, which is a little certificate, and it was for our traditional pork sausage. And they went, well done, congratulations. And then he sort of slipped me this other certificate for the Bombay sausage. So I went and sat down and they're shouting people out. And there's quite a few people haven't been up. And then they said, right, and for the winner. So I'm thinking, so the others didn't come last. They just didn't come first. These other people haven't won anything. And they said, then, and the winner, it couldn't really be anything else but Bobby's Bangers. So I falls over, getting up out for this little booth. Everyone looks round at me like, I'm like, sorry, I'm all right. And I went over, Simon Rimmer's there. We got this massive gold sausage award that looks quite phallic. It's in a box somewhere at home, I'm sure. And I got that. And then they brought me a champagne, and then they took me off for a little interview. And I walked back in the room and I went, yes, look at that. Yorkshire's best sausage, and we make it in Lancashire, which possibly wasn't the best thing to say.
Sacrilege.
So they all turned on their heels and left. And then we waited, and the Yorkshire Post came, and Northwest BBC came. So I got my chitty-chatty champagne. Look at my trophy. Look, Mum, I've got a massive sausage. And the Q Guild of Yorkshire had a meeting to try and disqualify us because we weren't from Yorkshire. So we went, by that point, we'd got a stall at Holmfirth Farmers Market. So I had a sign. I'm taking credit. Heather had a sign made that said, Yorkshire's best sausage, made in Lancashire. And we used to pin it up on the stall. And we probably upset a few people, but I feel you've got to do.
It's their fault for being on that side of the Pennines.
The wrong side.
Yeah. So that's the Oscars.
It's like, the sausage Oscars.
So what's the best way of making a sausage? Cooking a sausage, what's the best way to do it?
The best way to cook a sausage, it all depends, because a lot of sausages, they all say about pricking the sausage and all that. What you need is a bit of fat in the skin to get hot to cook your sausage. Now, I found the best way, if we're having them at home, is to cook them in the oven slowly. So you put them in about 160, get them in there, nice bed of onions, sausages on, maybe a bit of thyme on top. If you want to be fancy, you don't have to be. Doesn't matter. I like thyme. It's my favourite herb. You bob it in the oven, get that on. Obviously, your mash is bubbling away. And then you pull them out, give them a nice turn over so you get a nice colour on them, and then back in the oven. And then just turn it up ever so slightly so you can get them to colour. And they'll be near enough cooked then inside. But then what you want is a bit of colour. So then what you do, you get them out then, another 10 minutes, and pull them out. Take them off your tray, into another tray, back in the oven. Turn your oven down, they're done. Keep them warm then. And then all your juices into your pan. You make your gravy out of them juices. A little bit of stock. Some of the saved water from your potatoes. You should never throw that away.
Oh, I thought you did. I didn't know you could use that.
Only ever argued once that I can remember. And on a Sunday, poured the potato water away so she'd no potato water for her gravy.
Right.
So literally, I'm terrified. And she don't live with us. And I'm 43. And I'm still terrified now of pouring the potato water away. But that's it. Save that into your, make your gravy up. Leave the onions in, because you need a bit of onions. Mashed potato, nice, pretty, or a dollop. Stick the sausages in if you want. Pour beans on. Eat it however you want. Nice and slow. Because if not, really hot pan, you throw them in, they split. They go black and then they're raw. Nice and slowly. There's no rush. It's food.
I'll try that with the potato water, but you've always got gravy. So when you've not got gravy, do you prefer ketchup or brown sauce?
With sausages, ketchup. I find brown sauce with bacon, ketchup with sausages. Or sriracha, that's my new favourite thing. I find I've become addicted to sriracha. So sriracha is like this Thai chili sauce. And they do this, many different brands do it. And it's a really red sauce. And it just adds heat and it's nice and it's lovely flavour. But now I've found that they do green sriracha, they do wasabi sriracha, Tabasco maker sriracha. So I've now a cupboard of it. Oh, yeah. Everything, scrambled eggs, sriracha, fried egg sriracha, bacon butty sriracha.
So sausages, they go around the world?
Sausages, they there is a form of sausage from all over. You know, the Italians do a really nice sort of dry cured, really spicy, chili, peppery sausage that you soak in wine and then you cook it off. They make Chinese make a sausage, more like a cured sausage. But they, you know, in some essence, people have been stuffing meat in casings for many a year.
Said the vicar to the nun.
I was trying my best, you know.
What about German Frankfurters? I mean, are they classed as a sausage? What do you think?
Do you know what? I don't mind a nice hot dog. I prefer a bratwurst to a Frankfurter. But again, you can buy good or bad or cheap. You can make your own at home. Buy the stuff, make them at home.
So you've worked in the catering industry for so long. What's changed about it? The catering in the time that you've worked in it?
I think the biggest change is the people that are working in it. I think that staff are really difficult to get hold of. Good staff. There's a lot of, I say kids, it's an awful expression, but a lot of young adults coming out of college that have been there for 2-3 years.
Are we talking Gen Z?
Gen Z, I don't know, snowflake, Gen Z, whatever you want to call them. But, you know, I was working in the kitchen and there were two, and we've come for a job. We've just done 3 years at catering college. And that's brilliant. You're on eggs. What do you mean we're on eggs? Well, we're doing brunch, so you're on eggs. What does that mean? I said, well, when a check comes on, I'll say, I need 6 poached eggs. How do I poach an egg? 3 years.
3 years, and they've got poached an egg.
3 years. I've got a 12-year-old at home that can poach eggs. But there's that many gaps in the learning. And I think a lot of it has been that sort of transition from home learning to going back to college to a lot of them not just wanting to. And it's hard. At the moment, I'm working in a farm shop up in Delft. And it's amazing, but they struggle to get any staff. And yes, they're a bit out of the way, but there's a bus. It's quite sociable hours. They're not late nights.
Is it hard working in the catering industry? Is it long hours?
It's long hours. You'll have little marks all up your arm where you've burnt your arms going in the oven. But it's that team mentality. It's you're working and you have a laugh. And I like to be creative. I like to think, oh look, I've made that plate look nice. Even down to wiping the beans off the edge of the rim of the thing as it goes out. I'm like, don't send that. I'm like, wow, what's wrong with it? There's just a drop of beans there. And I don't think it's OCD. I think it just care.
Is this when it's going out to the pass?
When it's there and it's under the lights on the pass and you're like, right, so we've got sausages, bacon, black pudding, beans, mushrooms. Oh, there's a drop of bean juice on there. And a lot, I'll just send it out. If I sat in a restaurant and it came with there was bean juice on the side, I'd be like, who sent that? Why do they not care? It's it's a little wipe. And that's the mentality. You've got to really enjoy it. If you don't really enjoy it, it's going to make it harder for you.
What would you like to change about the industry then? You sort of like hinted at
I'd like to not work weekends.
Right.
Yeah.
Restaurants closed at weekends.
Restaurants closed 5 o'clock on a Friday night and then open at about 10 o'clock Monday. Would be lovely. Not sure. I think I'm in the minority there.
Definitely.
I think a little bit. I think people need to, as in the customers, need to be a bit more aware of what goes on and how hard it is. Even down to the server that might be a 16-year-old girl who's doing a bit of work at weekends to subsidise her going to nightclubs or whatever kids do these days. I don't know, join anyway.
You'll find out as your daughter gets older.
Oh God, yeah, that's happening. It's slowly happening. But I think for them to take, And for someone to scream at them because there's a piece of toast missing or something, that's someone's daughter. That's someone's son. They're here to work. You know, they're not being paid thousands of pounds, and it's a Sunday and we've got, 200 people sat in having breakfast. You don't have to scream at the girl that's brought you food because you're missing something. You don't have, someone brings you don't have to scream at them because your cup of tea's been made wrong. It just gets redone. There's nothing that bad, is it? It's only a meal.
So when you're a customer at a restaurant, you're a nice person because you know what goes on. Unless there's bean juice on the plate.
Oh, bean juice on the plate. The plate's going. I'm in the kitchen. I'm punching. No, I'm not at all like that. We went out. We went to Chinatown last Saturday night. It was my brother-in-law's birthday. So me and Heather and Matilda went down in the car. I said, we'll go to Chinatown. We'll go and get a bit of something to eat. And then we'll go, because it was canapes. And I'm thinking, I don't want to play a little game. I want something to eat. We'll go to a really nice Chinese called Mei Dim. And you go in and it's downstairs. And it's just off the square. And it's amazing. Always nice. Never had a bad meal. And we walked in, it was packed. And I was like, and they said, the best we can do, we can put you a table up just over there. And I went, yeah, that's fine. And they're like, oh, right. So we sat, as you come down the stairs, just round the corner where they store all the chairs. And we sat and I said, could I get the Chinese menu with all the dumplings on? And they're like, yes, have you been before? I said, I've been here many times. And we sat there and people were walking in like, why are these sat here? And I'm like, and they missed a few things off and we went to bed and I went, just to let you know, you missed a green tea off and you've missed this off. But it doesn't matter. You're really busy. And they're like, oh, because no one's like that. It's the end of the world. I didn't get salt on my chips. I can't put my own salt on my chips. Why? It's the end of the world, isn't it, for some people?
Okay, James, so what piece of advice would you give to someone who wanted to start in the catering industry, wanted to be a chef? What advice would you give them?
I think the best advice, you've got to love it. You've got to give it your all. And you've got to think that that's going to be your life. It's not a job. It's what you do, and you've got to give it everything because the rewards are amazing. Even down to making a sandwich for your daughter's packed lunch, and you kind of cutting it like this, and you roasting the meat. It's got to be what you do. And listen. The people you work with in the kitchen have sometimes been doing that for 20, 30 years, and they will have worked with many people and learned. The worst thing you can do is turn up and think that you know everything. You need to listen and look. I'm 43. I keep saying that, don't I? It's terrifying. 43, when did that happen?
It's better than the alternative.
It's true. But, every day you learn something. You work with someone and they might do something slightly different and you go like, oh, why did you just do it like that? Oh, well, if you're doing it like that. And you learn every day.
So is there a particular piece of advice that you've received and you think, oh, yeah, I'm keeping that, right? Apart from your mother and the...
My mother and that's the only one. That's the every time. I'm like, take water, sink, take water. I did once have a chef work with me. And his sister worked with us and she went, oh, can you get my brother a job? And he came pot washing. And he said, I've never been a chef. And he's now an agency chef and works all over the country. But I remember we were doing Sunday roast. And for a good gravy, I like to start it on a Monday. And on Monday, whatever meat you've roasted, be it chicken or whatever, all your bones into a pan. And then you boil it up and you throw some herbs in and any bits of veg. So you peel a load of carrots, you throw them in and you boil it and you boil it and you boil it until it's it's just a soup. And then you drain it and then you do it the next day. You start again with another load of roasting and you keep combining it until you get to Friday. And then on Friday, you get some pig's feet. Pig's feet, the most amazing ingredient ever. And you throw these pig's feet in and you boil it until you're just floating skin and bones. And it looks like something off CSI. And then you strain it off and then you put it into a tray. And all this pan's about this big and it cooks all week. And you're left with like a little ice cream tub about this size. about this much left, and you put it in the fridge, and then you come in the next day, and all the fat's settled, and you scrape it off, and you've got this jelly, and it's the most delightful looking substance ever, and you dice it up, and then if you're making a sauce, you put a little cube in, and it goes all velvety, and you've got all this flavour and all this gelatin, and then you throw it in your gravy, and it thickens, and it's beautiful. And it must have been his first week, and I'd gotten this pan, and it was just at the end, and I said to him, will you strain this pan for me? And then I wandered off, and I came back, and I went, where's my pan juices? And he went, I poured them down the drain, like you said. There's all the bits, and there was just like a colander of bones and bits of herbs and stuff, and I'm like,
Pig's feet.
What did you do? And he went, well, you know, when I'm at home and I'm making pasta, I put the water away and I save the pasta. And I'm like, so all week you've seen me cook that pan, and all week we've strained it and kept the liquid, and strained it and kept the liquid. Why now do you think we're going to pour it away? And he went, I don't know. So never pour anything away without asking.
Did you swear?
Oh God, so many swear words. I did. That was as close as we got to a full meltdown. I cried. I think I cried. I was definitely like some tears in the corners. Yeah, I did. He never lived that one down. Every time he got hold of a pan, are you pouring it away? No, chef.
Excellent. Right, James. I believe you brought us some samples.
Well, what I wanted to talk to you a little bit about was this amazing charity down in London, and it's a hospitality charity, and every February they do a sausage roll-off, and chefs from all over the country turn up to this pub, the Red Lion in Barnes, and you make your own puff pastry, none of your shop-bought stuff, make your own puff pastry, fill your sausage roll, and then you display, you take it up to the judges taste them, and there's a winner. And it's all hospitality action, it's all charity, and it's an amazing charity, and it's possibly the most drunk I've ever been in my life, because you get a room full of chefs, and you get there at lunchtime and start having a few, little lagers, and then all of a sudden it's 4:00 in the morning, and you're trying to find your way home in a town you don't know. So I went down. I haven't been down for a couple of years. I'm hoping to go down in February. I'm just putting the finishing touches to some ideas. So I thought I'd bring some sausage rolls, because I also, I once did a sausage tasting on the radio. It was the most pointless thing ever. We could have just sat there and made stuff up. But we went to Bolton Radio. The food show was on the Thursday night. And my friend Debbie did it, and she went, would you come and will you bring some sausages? And I went, just asked me to bring you dinner for you, hadn't you? You literally, I'm only here to feed you. And we did this whole thing. We're like, she's going, this is a lovely sausage. And I'm thinking, it's a radio. There's people at home thinking, what are they going on about? So I thought I'd bring some sausage rolls. So I made some last night, and they're not my prettiest sausage rolls. But I brought a nice little bit. This is a Cumberland sausage roll. And then this is the same Cumberland meat, but we've got a little bit of Berry's Finest black pudding in there.
Should we try looking at the camera?
Shall we show you up like this? Like that camera?
Yes.
Something like that? Do you want me to...
No.
Do you need me to say it again and hold it to the camera?
No, it's fine. No, I just wanted to show it because it looks quite interesting there. Yeah.
Dead easy. You make these at home. Buy a pack of puff pastry. It's about £1.50 from supermarket. Pack of sausages from butchers or from supermarket. Take the meat out, put it in, and then the key with pastry is that you stick your pastry together with water. So when you roll your sausage roll, a little bit of water, and then you roll it, and then your pastry sticks together, and then you put the egg wash on the outside, because the egg wash is then what's going to give this lovely colour. Then I sound all posh and chefy then.
You sound like you know what you're doing.
I do, don't I? I'm quite good at sounding like I know what I'm doing. So there we are. These are just some of these.
Can I try one straight away?
Of course. I'd have brought them warm, but, they'd have been cold by now. But I'll just do them. And then...
Oh, lovely.
But they're good because they're hot. They're amazing. But even cold, it's a lovely little snack, isn't it?
This is lovely. What's this one? This is Cumberland.
That's Cumberland. So that's just like a spiced pork. There's some mace, some marjoram, a bit of allspice in there, and white pepper. The white pepper gives you that little bit of a zing, you'd say, wouldn't you? Zing, whatever that is.
I've just had to have a drink, though.
Yes. A cup of tea is delightful.
Oh, that's lovely. I won't finish it. Shall I try one? What?
Yeah.
So what's this one?
That's again, it's the same Cumberland meat, but that's got their diced up berry black pudding.
Berry black pudding. This is really nice, everyone. It's the first time I've been fed on my podcast.
So you invite a caterer. If you know, I've been for job interviews and I've turned them down because they didn't offer me a cup of tea. I feel you work in the hospitality industry, you're hospitable, and I went to one.
This is only the second time I've had black pudding, by the way. It's lovely.
Changed your life. It's a superfood. It's a really good source of iron, and that's made probably 8 miles from here. Buried 8 miles.
I'm going to keep picking at that. That's lovely, that.
Yeah. It's not going to be good for the podcast. What was the question, sorry? And I've got to say, I have to say, crumbs in the beard.
Oh, yeah. It's terrible, isn't it? I don't know. What was the question?
There was one there somewhere, and then I fed you sausage roll, and then that was it.
Can you keep talking, man?
Yeah, I keep talking. I can start interviewing you now if you want. So that's it. How do you keep someone quiet? Sausage roll.
Feed them. It makes everyone happy.
It does.
Right.
Yeah, so once you've rolled your sausage roll, a little bit of water, and then roll it up. And then I like to just lightly score through the pastry so you get like a nice little pattern on it when it bakes. Egg wash, and then put it in the fridge just to get that, so the egg wash will nicely set on it. And then into your oven, about 180 degree. It's difficult. All ovens are different. We have a fan oven that does stuff, and it does this and it does that, and the door slides on. It's really posh, and I still don't know how it works.
Would you prefer an Aga?
Oh, we had an Aga. When we bought the house, we bought an Aga, and I bought it off eBay. And me and my mate went down in this truck with an Aga. It like weighs about as much as a house. And we got in the back of his truck and we brought it back home. And my kitchen was built around this Aga, and it was amazing. I spent years learning how to cook in the thing. And one day we're out in the garden. I'm like, that funny smell, like some form of like burnt. What's burning? Anyway, I thought nothing of it. A week later, I'm like, smells around again. So in the Aga, it has this little slow oven at the bottom.
I'm just going to take another bite.
Yeah, it's all right. I'll carry on talking. There's a little slow oven at the bottom, and we'd done some pork ribs, really nice pork ribs. Boiled them in a bit of Coca-Cola and then a bit of sauce on, and then in the bottom oven. And I think the plan was we'd put them in the oven, and then, about 4 weeks later, we pulled out this tray of bone powder. We'd created this new thing, which was pork rib powder. But yeah, amazing thing. Once you can work out how it all works, because different bits are hotter than others, and you've got all these ovens. And we hardly use this warming oven. But these ribs had been in there for weeks. Probably 6 weeks. May have been 6 months. But they were overdone.
I'd just like to, before I forget, say thank you for picking up there while I was enjoying your sausage rolls. They are lovely.
It's all right. You might have noticed I can talk for hours.
So you actually sell these on your market stall?
We did. We used to sell these, and then we used to make. They used to make a sausage swirl. So rather than, I don't know which camera will get it best. So rather than getting your sausage meat and putting it on and rolling them up, you'd lay it out as a layer and then roll it like a pinwheel. And then slice them. So I was going to make some of them, but I got excited making sausage rolls. So you'd have like a slice like that, and your pastry would run through, and you bake it, and it'd all puff out like that. I'll bring them next time.
I desperately want to be invited to something that you're working at. Well, so moving on, how do you keep sane in this mad world?
So in this mad world, I decided, not the summer just gone, the summer before, I needed a hobby. And I'm not, running wasn't for me. I decided that when I had to run once.
We both look like athletes.
I'm peak physical. And I worked stupid hours. I was away for months and I'm back, and I've got a 12-year-old, Matilda, and she's literally she's everything. And she,
Can we just, this camera here, can we give you a shout out to Matilda and your wife?
Matilda and my wife. So there's Matilda, and she's 12 and she's amazing.
Hello, Matilda.
And then there's Heather, poor Heather, who is slightly older than, she's much older than 12, because that sounds wrong. But she is amazing. She's very patient. And without the two of them, and all of my family, because I've got 2 stepchildren as well.
Nice.
And without them, and then I've got my mum who's close, without any of them, I couldn't be in doing this. I couldn't get up to the majority of what I do.
Who are your 2 stepchildren?
Oh, so we've got Oliver and Jess, and Oliver now lives with his partner, and he's got 2 kids, and Jess lives with her partner. They've got 2 dogs, and they're all very patient in putting up with me. I don't go out drinking, and I do a bit of clay pigeon shooting. And I love a bit of clay pigeon shooting, but it's a whole Sunday to get up and get all my stuff ready and go and do it, and it doesn't happen as often as I'd like. And we'd been out to...
It's nice when you get that powder.
When it works, it's brilliant. And I maybe go once a month. And we went up to a country fair up in Leeds, and there was me and Heather and Matilda, and they did a little stall there, and there was a gentleman there making longbows. And then next to it, they'd got a club that were doing try archery. And I can't remember how much it was. It was a weird amount. It was either £3 or £4 to just go and stand and shoot 5 arrows at a target. And I've never spent as many £3 or £4, because she'd go around and she'd go, "Can I go again?" And I'd be like, "Well, yeah, I'm just going to have to go back to the cash machine because I don't carry cash."
This is Matilda.
This is Matilda. And she was just 10, and she was like, "I really like this." So I said, okay. Well, if you really like it and you really want to do it, we'll do it. But I'm not just going buying you a bow and arrow and we're standing in the back garden thinking we're Robin Hood. I said, it's not like that. We'll go and we'll join the club. So I'll just ring up. Yeah, the 6-month waiting list. Oh, so then I started emailing. I'm not the most technical person, so I started emailing, and I emailed loads of different clubs, and they were all busy. They were all booked up. And I emailed Eccles, and I can't remember the lady's name, and she sent me an email back and said, we've nothing but Rochdale Company of Archers. I know that they're starting some classes. And I said, that's brilliant. She sent me the details over. I sent an email. The Wednesday after, we went for our first try it archery night. And we came out and she went, "Dad, I love it." And I really enjoyed it because I'm Robin Hood, and I'm stood there and I
can see you in green tights.
Well, if you go on my YouTube bit now. So we did, and we went for 8 weeks in the end, because she went away in between with my mum. So she missed a night, and we managed to sneak an extra night in. And you know what? It was amazing. And we finished that. We signed up, and then the week after we went over to Aardvark, that's no longer with us, up in Farsley.
On the wrong side of Pennines again. On
the wrong side of Pennines. And we went and we bought her a second-hand riser, and we bought some limbs, and we bought her a bag, and she bought us some bits. And because we'd go of an evening, we'd go Saturday night. Nobody else went. We'd get there about 7 o'clock, and there were many times my phone would ring, and Heather would be like, "You do know that it's midnight?" And I'd be like, "Is it?" And she went, "Do you not know the time?" I'm like, "No." She went, "There's a massive clock at the back. Do you not look at it?" I'm like, "No." I looked down the line.
That red one.
That red clock is massive. And we've been, and we haven't been now with work and other unfortunate commitments. But it is brilliant. And we did a bit of outdoor shooting, which is where I met you.
Yeah. So I'd just like to say, yeah, I'm an archer as well. We go to the same club. It's the Rochdale Company of Archers. So shout out to them. And when you become a member, you can go in 24/7.
Yeah, it's incredible. You get a key, a fob, and an alarm code. You know, and the week you go for these taster evenings, and they're not teaching you how to do it. They're teaching you how to not be an idiot and how to do it safely and how to stand and how to be there and how to be around other people. Because there might be 20 of you with only 10 places to shoot, you know, and you're wandering around like this. It's, you know, and it's amazing. It's so much fun and it's so competitive. And then you all have a laugh and a joke afterwards.
So you've not looked back. You've been doing it for 12 months, is it?
Yeah, just over 12 months now.
And you're now a Grand Master Bowman?
Sometimes I hit the middle. Sometimes I don't hit the paper. But I really enjoy it.
So what style are you? Because you mentioned longbow.
So I shoot an American flatbow. Matilda's on the Olympic recurve with the weights and the sights and all that lot. And I don't know, I got talking to Paul, who's at the club, and he's very much into the traditional archery.
Paul Aspinall.
Belting chap. Really nice, really good to talk to. Again, you know, as I've got older, you realise you've got to ask people, so, you know, you keep shooting, you keep hitting it. How do I do that? And there's a lot to it. It's about how you stand and you breathe and you look and the sun's shining and where the birds are singing in the background. It's not just like...
Yeah, sunspots, everything.
But every person there. And last Christmas, they had a Christmas party and I cooked the turkey for them for Christmas and we all sat in the range and had a Christmas dinner and it was lovely. And it's just a really nice community and it's a really nice thing to get involved with. And it's something I want to, you know, certainly get back into doing more as we get into the new year.
It is because, I mean, you can be really good year after year, and then as soon as you have a little bit of a break, you almost have to start again.
Yeah.
And because my daughter, she's an archer, and she's just recently broke her arm, so it's going to be a long time for her to get back together. And like myself, because work as a photographer, videographer, it gets in the way. And
it's awful, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's work nonsense. That's why I think everything on a Friday should just stop, and then everyone could have the weekend.
That's great. So that's what you would recommend for someone if they want to keep staying in this mad world. Try archery.
Do something. It doesn't matter what you do, but do something. Find something that you enjoy doing. Even if you want to sit in a dark room and playing video games, that's what does you. But archery, because it's physical, and it's mental, and it's lovely. I can't say anything nicer about it. They're just lovely people. There's no, you never, and you'll get there and you might walk in and there's one person and you're instantly friends because you're doing the same thing. And then they'll be like, oh, I'm just going to have 10 minutes to have a brew. And you're like, yeah, I'll have a cup of tea. And they'll cut and you sit and you'll be like, how long have you been doing it? Oh, so what else have you done? And that's how you learn. And you know what you're saying? They're like, well, while you're shooting, you know, if you look there rather than there, you probably hit more there rather than there. And then you're like, shit, that was quite obvious, weren't it? Why was I not doing that already?
There are a few oddballs, though. You've obviously not met Russell and Alex and Kenny from the Sunday morning crew.
Yeah, I've met them. They're my favourites. You've got to be mental. You've got to be a little bit different, a bit quirky. Because it's, you know, and it's not for everyone. You know, people will be like, oh, what do you do weekend? Oh, I went to a club and I did this. And what do you do? Oh, me and my daughter went doing archery at 7 o'clock on Saturday night and we didn't get until 2 in the morning.
We drove for hours to do a frostbite. Oh.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, that's great, James. Right. I'm a headshot photographer. Do you like having your pictures taken?
Yeah, I don't mind it, actually. Yeah. I had a small issue. I'm not very technical. My stepson works for Sony and I frustrate him because my phone broke and it took him 10 hours to get all my information off my phone. He's like, you've got 22,000 photographs on your phone. Why are they not backed up to the cloud? I'm like, what's a cloud?
How does that store photos?
And why has everyone not got them? And where are they? I can't see them. And then my laptop died. So I was ringing people and going, do you remember you did a photo shoot for me? Will you send me some? I realised I actually really do like my photo being taken. There's loads of them of me with pans knives, food, me.
So, also, this is where we'll get a cookbook from you then, won't we?
Oh,
With recipes and...
A cookbook, like this one.
Oh,
So a few years ago, we're very lucky to be invited to put some recipes into this in Manchester. This is the second helping of the Manchester cookbook. So you've got my ugly mug in there as well. There we go, just there.
Wow, just let me hold that to the camera.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not in the light. But there, I will...
I'm there somewhere.
You've got hair.
Yes, I've got hair. Yes,
Who's the handsome chap with
So
you?
the handsome chap, that's Richard. So that's my best friend Richard, who is now no longer with us. He's now in London.
I was thinking the worst.
No, I always say that's how I like that dramatic part.
You like to see people's faces as well.
He's no longer with us. He's in London, which is the same thing, really. But yeah, it was amazing. But and again, a whole day of cooking food and taking pictures and writing recipes, which is part of what I enjoy doing. But I thought I'd bring you some sausage rolls to eat, and I brought you a little cookbook that you can either use to keep a door open, or you can look through, or whatever you want.
Thank you very much. No, there's one cookbook I did buy for my wife, and it was from a TV chef, and he was doing a tour around France.
Yeah.
And he had this little car, and he was going to lots of restaurants. And I said, that's what we'll do one day. I said, when we're empty nesters,
Yeah.
and we can do it, and we can just buy loads of alcohol,
Yeah.
and we'll tour around. So I'll now have 2 cookbooks.
There you
We'll
go.
probably do Manchester.
Wait, I'm going to
instead.
say that'll be a bit easier for you to do. A bit
will,
easier
yes.
to tour.
So we are actually recording this podcast now in November.
Yes.
It's coming up to Christmas. What do you do for Christmas? What's a Christmas lunch like?
Oh, at my house. So they are. Christmas is, for me, Christmas is about family. And I've worked Christmas Day, and we worked Christmas Day in the pub, and we did about 200 Christmas dinners over 3 sittings. And then at the end of the 3 sittings, I'd got loads extra stuff, and everyone that had worked that day and their families, and then all the locals that used to come in for a beer in the week, we all sat down and we put tables out in the middle of the pub, and we all sat round and it was amazing. For me, that was what Christmas is about. But I remember one year, when we were at the butcher's shop, it was the first year that I went to have Christmas dinner with Heather and Oliver and Jess, and we went round to their house, and I said, don't worry, I'll sort of turkey. I was like, yeah, nice, lovely turkey crown, wrapped it in bacon and everything. And then about 1 o'clock Christmas Eve, I'm just scrubbing down, cleaning up, and this guy come running in and he went, you can't help me, can you? And I'm like, why, what's up? And he went, oh, my wife's going to kill me. I forgot to order the turkey. You haven't got one, have you? I went, yes, I have, no problem. There you go. There we go. And I sold him this turkey, happy days. And then I'm thinking, shit, that was our Christmas dinner. So, the kids will tell you it is their favourite ever Christmas dinner. Heather will tell you it is her worst ever. We had chilli. So we sat around the table, we had Christmas hats on, we had crackers, we had little presents, we had
Christmas pudding,
everything,
ready to do.
Christmas pudding, trifle, all the lot. And then we had a pan of chilli, we had refried bean, we had guacamole, we had all that kind of stuff. And we sat around and we had a Mexican Christmas dinner, which I've now gone the complete opposite way. So for Christmas this year, there will be me, Heather, Matilda, my mum, and then my mother and father-in-law. So there'll be 6 of us. And then we'll have a turkey, which I'll buy a whole turkey, and then we'll brine that. And I've got a lovely little brine recipe I'm going to tell you about in a minute, because that is the future of turkey.
Can you tell from the look on my face that I'm not a chef? I don't do anything.
I'm talking nonsense to you, but it does work. So we'll have a turkey, and then we'll have a rib of beef, and then we'll have a piece of pork.
6 of you.
6 of us. And then I've got some lamb. I bought a lamb and we chopped a lamb up, and it's the bit in my freezer, my mum's freezer, my sister's freezer. So we might have a little bit of lamb, because then on Boxing Day, my mother-in-law goes to church with a little buffet. So I always over cater with the excuse that I'm catering for that. But really, I just like cooking, and we'll have sprouts done.
And I'm getting the feeling you're quite a generous chap as well.
Oh yeah, I'm terrible. And we'll have some roast potatoes, there'll be parsnips, there'll be carrots, and we'll have boiled carrots and roast carrots, just in case people don't like one of them. Make some cranberry sauce. Matilda will make applesauce, because we've some apples in the garden. Well, they're in the freezer now, but she'll get them out and she'll make a really nice, really tart sort of applesauce with a bit of brown sugar and some thyme in there. It's really nice. And then I'll do sprouts, boiled sprouts, and then we'll do a sprout gratin, and then we'll do some sprouts fried with bacon and chestnuts in. Probably cauliflower cheese. There'll be gravy, like vats of gravy. And then my mother-in-law will make us a trifle. There'll be a Christmas cake, a Christmas pudding. And then I'll make some ice cream, do some Christmas pudding ice cream. And then just to finish it off, just after we've all sort of feeling a bit bilious, will be cheese. Because every meal should finish with cheese. Nice bottle of port, some, nice Taylor's port or something. A bit of that, glass of port, maybe a brandy.
So where can everyone get tickets for?
I would love that. The more the merrier.
We'll have to arrange it down at the range.
We shall do that.
So we're coming close to the end of the podcast now, and I always ask the guests, who would they like to hear on the next podcast?
Not right now, but like in 6-8 months' time, once she's slightly better, I would love you to have Matilda here for her to talk to you about archery, because she is 12, but it's like talking to a grown-up, and I think she would probably talk more than I do. And I know that's hard. It's hard for you to understand. But yeah, I think Matilda would absolutely love to come and talk to you about archery.
I think we'll have to arrange that, because I also do an archery podcast. So I think we'll have to arrange that and get a few of the juniors down.
Yeah, no, that would be really good. I think they would all enjoy that. And it'd be good then for other people to see, it is something, the younger they start, the better they're going to be.
Yeah, that's excellent. Well, thank you, James. Those sausage rolls were lovely. Thank you again for the book. Yeah. And thank you for coming to this. Okay, goodbye.
Thank you for watching and listening to the Entertainment Video Podcast. You can help support this video podcast by making a donation at Buy Me a Coffee, which is www.buymeacoffee.com/James Video Podcast. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, and let me know who you would like to see on a future Entertainment Video Podcast.